Had this happen on Christmas Eve is very unfortunate. It's difficult on the community and the people that reside here.
A violent and tragic night in Oshawa. What's supposed to be a time of joy leaves this neighborhood reeling after a man is shot dead. In the last 24 hours, there have been 4 separate shootings around the GTA. We begin tonight with the one that turned fatal. 24-year-old Jacquar Stewart was gunned down outside a townhouse in Oshawa early this morning. Police say he was a rap artist known as Bully. Linda Ward with the details on what happened.
The scene is just around this corner. The street festooned with holiday lights and decorations, now swagged with yellow police tape and flashing lights instead. Residents of this new townhouse complex say the noise woke them up around 3 this morning.
And I had just opened the door and heard bang, 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 bang. And I had never heard a gunshot before, so I wasn't sure at first if it was fireworks, but it didn't really sound like fireworks.
Police say 24-year-old Jacquar Stewart had been shot multiple times in front of this townhouse here. The shooter fled, leaving him dying on the ground.
And then when I came out, I kind of ducked myself in my little alcove there, and then I seen a white car drive past here and out of the complex.
By the time police arrived, it was too late. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say he was just visiting the home, likely for the holidays.
To have this happen on Christmas Eve is very unfortunate. It's difficult on the community and the people that reside here. It's disappointing for me as a police officer that this sort of thing is occurring on Christmas Eve.
And for the family?
Well, for the family, it's going to be devastating. I can't, there's not a worse day for this to occur.
Those family members arrived here at the scene today in tears. And residents of this community say while this isn't the first incident of violence they've experienced here, they're still shocked.
It's still surreal. I think once they find him, we'll feel a bit better.
Yeah.
But right now, it's just in shock. You just don't know. So you just keep going through the motions of your day and hope that the people who were affected find some sort of peace.
But police have not yet released any suspect description. They say they have been contacted by Toronto police who found a suspicious burnt out vehicle located in 41 Division. They are looking into whether or not that is related. But while this community tries to celebrate the holidays, police will be canvassing this neighborhood, knocking on their doors, looking for witnesses, surveillance video, anything that will help them find who's responsible. Linda Ward, CBC News, Oshawa.
And the man has serious injuries after a daylight shooting just hours ago.
Just I heard the voice of the gunshots, like 12, 15 shots.
It happened around 2:30 at a strip mall on Jane south of Finch. Police say the male victim ran to one of the businesses for help. He was taken to hospital with serious injuries. Police are looking for 4 men who fled in a silver vehicle. This comes after 2 other shootings overnight, one just west of here at Bathurst and Finch.
We located one male sustaining gunshot wounds. That male, again, was quickly transported to a trauma hospital. My understanding at this point is that male is in stable condition and thankfully is expected to survive.
It happened outside a home on Dollery Court around 1:30 this morning. The victim was standing in front of the residence when 3 men approached. One of them fired a gun and they fled westbound in a dark vehicle. An hour before that, a 19-year-old man was shot at an apartment building on Thorncliffe Park Drive. Police say he is now in stable condition and will survive. A little help is on the way for families fleeing another barrage of bombs in Syria. Volunteers at Global Medic spent much of their day in Etobicoke today packing goods for those in need.
Last month, it's about 400,000 people that have been forced to flee. Just in the last couple of days, the death toll has really increased. You know, there's 56 dead in the last 48 hours. What we're focusing on is trying to get to the folks, you know, mom and her kids that are fleeing this fighting and then coming into kind of that no man's land on the Syrian side of the border where there's just not a lot of aid, you know, for them to get.
They are sending a shipping container of family emergency kits, including hygiene items, solar lights, water purification, and much more. For the first time, for some rather, it's the most wonderful time of the year. For others, the holidays can be incredibly lonely and isolating. Now, there's a prescription for that, and you can get it from your doctor. Shannon Martin explains why sometimes the best medicine is not a pill.
Armed with aprons, they survey this week's ingredients.
Carrots and celery and tomatoes. So for protein, we
On the menu, spicy tacos, guacamole,
spinach salad, bean salad. Way to go, Heidi.
These two are on salsa duty. They're learning about healthy living, but friendship is what brings them back.
Because I'm disabled, just even getting up in the morning, this has been a real challenge. I have not missed one program, 1 week yet.
It was Gina Caradona's doctor that encouraged her to give it a try, writing her a prescription to get more social.
This is an epidemic, especially in our city, where we have lots of very poor individuals living alone, right? And they don't have community, they don't have extended family around.
We're trying to prevent illness and not only treat when it's a big problem. We're trying to prevent it from happening.
They say 1 in 3 patients suffers from chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. While diet and exercise have always been recommended, actual prescriptions can make all the difference.
Let's do some pump movement, letting go movement, hands up, and then you just drop your hands.
The Stonegate Community Health Center is one of 11 places across the province taking part in a social prescription pilot project. It could be anything that gets people moving or just making a connection, like Qigong. A soothing mix of Reiki, meditation, and Tai Chi.
But what's new about social prescribing is that it helps connect more people to those services, the kinds of people who maybe need a bit of a nudge.
It's helped, like, let's say, 70% with your stress.
Hefa Musa started taking part in social programs 7 years ago. She says her life has completely changed.
I stopped taking antidepressant pill because of these groups.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. That's why, like, I don't want to miss any group coming.
Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
For many, tonight is a night to be together with family and loved ones, but that's not an option for everyone. The holidays can be a lonely time for people who don't have anyone nearby. Today, our Greg Ross caught up with one Toronto man who hopes he has the cure for the holiday blues.
Put him over here.
Like many people across the city, Alex Mihaela spent the day preparing for a Christmas feast.
So food goes there. The drinks will leave him here. I'm putting 2 turkeys together. I got the mashed potatoes. I have other people bringing the cranberry sauce, the gravy, the stuffing.
While most will be spending the holidays with family, the guest at Mihaela's Christmas celebration won't.
So if you're not going to be with the family or you're not able to be with your family, this is the option that I'm offering.
For the 4th straight year, Mihaela is putting together a holiday party for people around the city who, for one reason or another, can't be with family. Many, like Hani Shukri, are from other countries and can't be home for the holidays.
My Christmas has been related to Alex. It's been my 4th year.
Shukri, who is originally from Egypt, has been to each of Mihaela's holiday parties. He says Christmas would be tough without them.
Everyone is celebrating. Everyone is getting together with his loved ones or friends or whatever, and you're sitting at home doing nothing. So it's lonely, yeah.
Mihaela says it was his own loneliness during the holidays that motivated him to host these parties.
My father has passed away, my mom had a stroke, my personal life was like at an all-time low, and I was really feeling the holiday blues.
What he didn't realize is how many others were feeling the same way. You were surprised at how many people were alone.
Absolutely, absolutely, right? And my numbers are showing it for like this year.
He will have more than 80 people at his party this year. His guests say it's the next best thing to being home.
This is a great opportunity to be with friends and have a good time in a nice Christmas Eve.
There's great music, gift exchange, almost like you're at home, but it's a home away from home.
He asked that his guests pay $10 to help cover the costs of putting the party together. In return, he says his guests get food, drinks, and lifelong memories.
I'm alone, but I'm not the only one to be alone, right? So let's be alone together.
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Sounds like a plan. Many are enjoying the festivities already, but at the same time, they are honoring the spirit of giving. Alicia Song caught up with some folks whose small acts of kindness are making a big impact.
It's Christmas Eve, the crescendo of holiday consumption. And while most will be out eating, drinking, being merry, There are others devoted to donating goods and time, like mother-daughter duo and first-time Scott Mission volunteers, Melanie and Jean Moffat.
I just want to make people's days, like make them happy and smile and warm within, so that they know there's a family waiting for them here.
The Scott Mission serves these kinds of lunches on a daily basis. They usually have around 20 volunteers helping out, but this time of year, they have more hands on deck and more food on tables, thanks to those in the giving spirit.
There should be no one left alone in the city, particularly at a time where we're talking about peace and love and joy and hope.
Yeah, and the nice man there said sure. It comes naturally to some, like this family who had an aha moment in a grocery store this morning.
So then you guys decided to load up the trunk and then head this way?
Yep, we took our grocery bags to the store, filled them up with the 111 bags of bagels, and brought them down to the Scott Mission.
Giving back doesn't have to be a grand gesture. The head of the Daily Bread Food Bank has an idea.
You know, if somebody's watching this right now and they just happen to have the Amazon app on their phone, make a list of food that you would like to eat and just have it sent over to our office at 191 New Toronto Street, and we'll make sure that it goes to somebody experiencing poverty.
That's brilliant. I love that idea.
Well, we think that there needs to be innovative ideas because the solution is complex, but simple solutions like that often work best.
Dino's Pizza has been baking up pies for the people.
Today we're preparing about more than 100 pizzas. That's about 1,200, 300 slices. So we will go to women's shelter, then also we will go to the co-op housing.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Very thoughtful.
Toronto is our home, so we have to take care whoever is in the home.
Toronto the good, indeed. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
If you need cooking or if you need a shower or whatever, if you can't get around, they help you with things like that, and they're there for you.
From helping with everyday things to granting wishes, we'll tell you about this Toronto doctor and what he's doing to help homeless people dealing with terminal illnesses. That's coming up for you a little later in the show. Coming up right now is Nick Sernkovich and our Green Christmas.
Yes, our Green Christmas, Dwight. What can I say? You know, we started off in November before winter actually kicked off with this cold weather and multiple snowfalls. And now here we are in Christmas, and it's going to be a green Christmas. In fact, temperatures today hovering just above the zero mark, but today is the coldest of the next 5 days. So there's a look at your weather headlines. Things are warming up. A green Christmas near double-digit highs. And over the next few days, if things change, we might actually see double-digit highs into the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a second. Here's what we're sitting at right now. 0 degrees in the city of Toronto. We've been sort of hovering between 0 and 1 throughout the day today. Again, that is the coolest of the days, though, in the forecast. It also came with some sunshine earlier and a little bit of cloud cover. We're going to see this on and off cloud cover, but things will start to clear out for tomorrow. At least partly cloudy skies as we head into the afternoon. So the morning, we've got a couple things in play. Number one, outside of the city of Toronto, surrounding areas, likely to see some fog patches. And then into the afternoon, those are going to burn off. What we're looking at is sky cover just sort of clearing out. We hover just on the edge of the cloud cover there. So I think we are going to see some hints of sunshine into Christmas Day. And then into Boxing Day, watch in the morning. It doesn't really show up very well over here on the forecast model, but there is the risk outside of the GTA, to the north and to the east in particular, as temperatures hover around 0 for some icy road conditions, and that's if we get some spotty freezing drizzle or freezing rain. Shouldn't be a lot. For the city of Toronto, we're looking at just some showers as temperatures sit above the 0 mark. Winds aren't too bad. They're going to come down through tonight. That's why we're seeing some of the fog patches developing through the overnight period. Into tomorrow afternoon, winds pretty much peter out altogether. So let's put temperatures into perspective here. Average highs, -5, average lows, -8.3, record close to 16 degrees. It won't be a record breaker. We're also going to be pretty warm. There's a look at your overnight forecast, -2 degrees, wind chills about -7. But into tomorrow afternoon, highs of 5, even 6 degrees in some areas around the Golden Horseshoe. And then it continues to warm. We get a little bit of a dip on Thursday with a few showers, 8 on Friday, 4 on Saturday, and Sunday, 8 degrees. but that could actually hit the double digits if things shift just a little bit. So there is a look at your green Christmas forecast. Dwayne.
Thanks, and Merry Christmas, Nick.
Merry Christmas to you too.
Some Leaside families took advantage of the weather today by hitting the ice in their neighbor's backyard.
My mom told me she got an email that somebody in Leaside was doing a backyard ice rink, so she thought that we should go to it and check it out.
What do you think?
It's really fun.
Does look like a lot of fun. Sven Walker built a rink on his lot and sent out invitations to nearby families. It's 2,100 square feet of ice, perfect for a friendly neighborhood game.
Years ago, there was a guy named Darcy Tucker. I went to see his house. It was for sale, and he happened to have a refrigerated ice rink. And so I saw his ice rink, and I'm like, geez, I got to have one. So I bought one used from a guy in Oakville.
The rink has protective nets and can be cooled at minus 25 degrees, so the ice holds on mild days like today.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all throughout CBC, I gathered everyone's ideas on moments that made them smile in 2019.
Turns a corner for the win!
I'm Callie Ricci, and watching this story is a must. If you would like to relive some good memories, stay with us.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
From raccoons to a championship ring, this year was brimming with moments that made us smile. We let Talia Ricci have some fun looking back on some of those memories in our city.
Among the doom and gloom that's sometimes the news were moments that made us smile in 2019 too. This is Dante Colley, and thousands love to watch him dance.
I just want to be me and have fun.
And we tested out a new roller coaster that made us laugh and scream at Canada's Wonderland. I'm floating! Then there was that python named Monty who went missing from his home. He was thought to have turned up in a sewer, but the whole time he was just hanging out in the basement alone.
He screamed and came running up the stairs, "Snake, snake!"
And while we're talking wildlife, this man took a pretty big risk to save his cat one afternoon. And it wouldn't be a Toronto story without a few stubborn raccoons.
Out the door.
Sunshine and rainbows made the Pride Parade a wonderful sight.
I think it's important, not just for everyone who's out here today celebrating, for people who are at home, young people especially who are still worried about coming out.
Drag queens performing and inspiring were put into the spotlight.
I am so proud of you and happy you're an example of do what makes you happy.
These four sisters touched many hearts after they were reunited in adulthood.
There's a really neat connection that way. I feel like they have my back.
And those giving back to the community help us keep the tagline, Toronto the Good. There was that shrimp fitness challenge that none of us could do.
1, 2, 3.
And this local family who went viral with their take of this Beastie Boys tune.
Beastie Boys known to let the beat drop.
Let's not forget tennis legend Bianca Andreescu.
I think I just have a really good support team around me.
Toronto became a championship city once and for all.
Turns a corner for the win.
Those bounces watched across the country launched the best season of basketball. Our city was brought together this year in more ways than one. People, animals, and trophies made being in Toronto a whole lot of fun. Ending this story with a Drake mic drop is Toronto to a T.
We got one with the dip.
Reflecting on 2019, you could say,
that was amazing!
We live in a pretty good city, you know. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
We do have a pretty cool town, don't we? Now, if you made a list and checked it twice and still forgot a few presents, you might have wound up doing some last-minute shopping. Today, downtown, the Eaton Centre, of course, was bustling. Some people braved the crowds to snap photos of the massive 3-meter-tall Christmas tree, while others tried to snag the last few gifts before the big day.
We've got a few more gifts to buy.
We only buy some shoes. One pair of shoes for me.
I have about 4 people left, my sisters and my brother-in-laws.
Yeah, you're in trouble, buddy. One family told us strolling through the Eaton Centre at crunch time has been an annual tradition for more than 2 decades, but they are only here for the people watching.
We are. I'm done. I've been done for weeks. Yeah.
What is your advice to other people then?
Well, if you can get it done early, you don't have to panic at the end, and on Christmas Eve, you can have a nice, easy day, watch TV, have a cup of coffee, and just take it easy.
Yeah, hang out with Dwight in the news if that's not you this year and you're still shopping. Bad news, most malls in the city are already closed tonight. They closed at 6 o'clock. The malls, of course, will be closed tomorrow as well, but if you'd like to make a day of it, some attractions are open tomorrow, including the Bentway, get some skating in, Ripley's Aquarium, or Wonderland. And for your big Boxing Day plans, most malls open at 8, except for the Eaton Centre that opens at an early 7 a.m. Stay with us. We'll be right back. A Toronto doctor and his team are working to make life a little bit brighter for those living on the streets, specifically those dealing with a terminal illness. The program helps make their holiday wishes come true. We caught up with one sculptor who received art supplies this year.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, I'm just working on like some angels like that I've done for years.
How has art helped you through dealing with your illness?
It helped.
Yeah, in what ways?
Also with mental stress, I would do Tai Chi and I'd do my art. Instead of being on toes.
Yeah.
It would help me through it.
Right.
Those toes are pretty strong for your mind.
Yeah.
Your body. Because what I'm going through now is type of bone cancer for about the last 9 years. So
yeah.
It's been a struggle.
Richard had a real passion for art, and one of the things that we recognized when we met Richard was he was distrusting of healthcare professionals.
Doctor could say, well, you got 3 months to live, but it's been longer than that. I was on the streets one time, 9 years.
And he wanted some art supplies. So we used that as an opportunity to connect with him. And what ended up happening was not only did he want art supplies, but he actually needed warm clothing so that he could go to his appointments. And it's really cold out here.
Well, they have be sure people that come to assist you sometimes because certain disabilities you have. If you need cooking or if you need a shower or whatever, if you can't get around, they help you with things like that, and they're there for you.
The Good Wishes program brings forth the relationship and puts the person back in the center of care. It's a real pause for reflection during the holiday season when we're thinking about shopping and what's under the Christmas tree or the holiday gifts that are being given, and brings home what really is important and puts the person back in the center of care.
'Tis the season of giving. That's it for our show tonight. Thank you for watching. Before we'll go, we'll leave you with one last look at those Leaside kids having fun on the ice, all thanks to a generous neighbor. A great way to celebrate the spirit of the holidays. I will see you back here on Boxing Day. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Have a great day tomorrow.